So welcome everyone to the My Classroom Economy session for this afternoon with our lovely folks who will get us started here momentarily. And if you have any questions, just send those to the moderator, which is myself, Mary Hulscall, and I will do the best I can to help you. I will monitor the chat and provide any support as needed. And without further ado, take it away.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We're excited to be here. Both Mary and myself we both are employees of Vanguard, and during our day jobs are listed up above. So I'll start first. I'm a compliance supervisor in our Office of General Counsel organization. Been with Vanguard for a little over 2 years, and for me, those are our day jobs. Our passion projects is volunteering with My Classroom Economy, which we're here to talk about here today. So very excited to be here. For me, prior to coming to Vanguard, I was kind of entrepreneurial on my own, developed a financial literacy program built on like one-on-one coaching behavior changes, and then got the opportunity to actually teach a couple courses with some universities in the Southeast. So strong passion for the subject, excited to be here, excited to be doing it with My Classroom Economy, which is an established program we've built over the past 10 years. So excited to bring that, and I will hand it over to Mary for an intro as well.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me? All right, great. Well, I know it's been a long day already for you guys, so really appreciate your time and attention. We're going to be talking about a subject that is taboo. You've been talking about it all day long, and I think that my trajectory is kind of opposite of Pujit's, where when I retire, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to help people balance their budget, learn about money, the power of compound interest. So yeah, welcome. I work at Vanguard. I've been here for 25 years. I'm very passionate about financial literacy. I'm very passionate about teaching children. I just think that there's no better job in the world than being a teacher. You know, the difference that you all make is just amazing. So, kudos to you and what you do on a day-to-day basis. Just want to talk a little bit about why financial literacy is so important to me, and why I really feel so passionate about it. Again, I know that people don't like to talk about money. It's, you're not supposed to, it's rude. But I think it's important, and especially as a woman, who our ability to be financially independent exists, and us not talking about money is not serving us, right? So I want to talk about it. When I was a kid, there was a clothing store that, very enticing. All of these, all these people want you to buy all their stuff, right? And so, we're surrounded by all of this advertisement and people telling us to buy, and not save. And that's a problem, right? So I asked my father if I could open up a credit card at this clothing company, and, which again was very enticing. And he says, well, you don't have a job. How are you going to pay off the monthly bill? And what's the interest? And, you don't want to do that. I heard somebody earlier say that her father or family taught her that you always pay yourself first, which means save, right? Like, so before you pay, your bills, make sure that you have that money that you're paying yourself first to save, and then you can earn compound interest on that. And this is how really strongly I feel about it. If you live within your means, if you earn and you save, you will have freedom in your life. And if you don't, you'll be imprisoned. You'll get so far in debt, it will be impossible to get out of. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I wanted to mention that Einstein, you all know how smart Einstein was. He said that the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. And the power of compound interest is incredible. Pujit's going to talk a little bit about that later with a really great example. But the power of compound interest, those who understand it, earn it, and those who don't, pay it. So it's a pretty big deal. So that's why we're here, and that's why I'm passionate about financial literacy, and I'm really happy that you're here with us this afternoon. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So this is our agenda. We're gonna, start focusing on why we're here, but take a lot of time to discuss our program, the offer. It's a free offer. It's available immediately for download, and the kits that we could send, the material we could send, it's all free. And we'll talk about ordering the materials, and then to Mary's point, we want to talk about the power of time and compound interest. It's something that's embedded into the program, but it's also something we could review here as a little fun exercise. We do want this to be interactive, so we encourage everyone, feel free to comment in the chat. If you want to come off mute, absolutely come off mute, ask questions. We are going to save a few minutes at the end for questions, but if it's more relevant to ask the question in the slideshow, please stop us. We're here to answer questions and share with you our program. So first, just going to start with some stats that I'm sure have already been reviewed throughout the day, but if people could post in the chat, what percentage of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? Any guesses? One want to post a percentage in the chat?
Some guesses we had last session were like, don't we all? Too
Yes.
many.
Too
Love
many.
that.
Yep. So it is unfortunately a high percentage at 80%. What percentage of Americans have less than 10,000 saved for retirement? $85. Any other takes? 90. So this is closer to the 50% mark here. And percentage of Americans that spend more than they earn.
I like the term living beyond
35.
your means.
Yep. This is also around that 50% mark. And then last one here, what percentage of Americans are unable to cover a $400 emergency? 35, 40, 75, 50. So yep, right in that 50% mark range. So, I think throughout the day I've heard several stats along the way. It's very sobering reality of where we are, but that's why we're happy to be here, happy to share our program and what we're trying to do to help improve these statistics. So we're just going to go straight into first going to stop here, and these are continued statistics on where kind of the state of financial literacy is at the moment. One particular point, was mentioned, student loan crisis, 1.6 trillion, and these stats are pre-COVID, so these have definitely increased over time, and so that's where we're excited to share with you our program. And I'm going to let Mary take it away and talk to you about our offer.
Great. Does anybody on the call, or you guys need a break or a stretch? Just, because I know it's just back-to-back meetings, and, kind of flashback to COVID when we were like all on on our computers all day long. Just let me know. We could just take a little stretch break, whatever. All right. So My Classroom Economy is free. Vanguard supplies the materials. We are working on a virtual presence, but currently it's paper, but Vanguard provides the kits for you and mails them for free. They're for K through 12th grade, and the program can be implemented by any teacher at any grade at any point in time. I think the sweet spot for our program really is I would say between 3rd grade and 5th grade to 8th grade, 9th grade, that I believe that our materials aren't really good for like, 10th, 11th, and 12th. I do think that the intro speaker, Gene, this morning, the Troutwood software that he has available really plays into that much nicer than some of the material that we have for My Classroom Economy. So just want to make sure that I'm very transparent and honest with you. So what really is special about My Classroom Economy, we didn't create it, but we do are trying to get every teacher we know to implement the program. It's a great classroom management system, helping discipline the folks in the classroom by very subtle means, and we'll go through examples on that. It's experiential, so it's not a curriculum. The students actually experience and learn, what it means to earn by, having a job and making a paycheck, what it means to save, delayed gratification, what it means to spend. You have to eat, right? You have to have, a place to stay, so you have to pay for rent. And it implements some common core standards of financial literacy that we all think is so important. So any questions just on the base foundation of what the classroom economy is? No? Great. All right, so this is just a guideline of things to introduce at different areas. But as I like to say, it really depends on your students, and kids these days are really smart, and they're really smart at really young ages, right? So this again is just really a guideline. You'll find it, some of this 4th, 5th grade, that these kids understand loans and bills and taxes and insurance and all of that. So, but this is just kind of a guideline. The class store. So you're earning money by having a job. Then you typically have in the 2nd grade have auctions and checking accounts where we learn to balance their budget, which I think is really important. And rent, like I said, we need a place to stay, learning about loans, talking about compound interest earlier. And, hey, if you have credit card bills and they're like at 20, 25% interest, that little bit of money that you're spending balloons up very quickly. Utility bills, taxes, and insurance. All right. All right, so the benefits for educators, a little bit of a startup necessary to get the program going, but it's all very flexible. So the benefits for the educators is it's free, it's easy to use, it's experiential, and it enables the students to get an understanding and to almost start kind of managing that classroom themselves based on the jobs that you're distributing out to your students. So it really is pretty cool. At Vanguard, I work in IT. We talk about like self-managed teams. It's kind of that same concept of, hey, you provide a foundation and you manage it high level, but you let them, kind of do the work once you get it started. It's really great for the students. I had a teacher that taught in Philadelphia who implemented the program, and the children just were clamoring to get into her classroom. They all wanted to be in her classroom because all of the other children were like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. The auctions are fun. The learning about money is fun. I heard another story where the students were actually teaching their parents, right? Like, because they never had that education before. So it's pretty amazing, the power of the program, for sure. Develops a sense of personal and professional responsibility, incentive of following the rules, and it instills a real healthy financial behavior among the students. And it allows us to have this taboo topic be something that people are comfortable discussing, because you're talking about the earning, saving, spending. Any questions on the benefits? All right, cool. So some of this we've talked to a little bit, and we have a slide for each of these items, but in the packet, you'll get forms that you can fill out. And so this is why it's just so flexible, because the teacher and the students can come up with like, hey, what jobs do we need in the classroom? The rent is pretty straightforward, where typically you'll have a rent for your desk, but if you have computers in the classroom, you can talk about, hey, you're leasing a computer, just like, you have leasing of cars. And then the bonuses, so you get a salary for doing a job, and then you can have bonuses and implement fines. So that's what helps with the classroom management of it. And again, kind of implementing discipline in a nice kind of subtle, appropriate way. I do want to put a little plug in, and we do talk about this at the end, that we do have something called My Home Economy as well, which that is has a virtual presence. So anybody with young children, it's a really great program, and again, it helps with that discipline. So it's really kind of nice. All right. So again, this is just an example of, you can have a job application, you can have a list of jobs that you have in the classroom with salaries attached to those jobs. My Home Economy is the same way. And then rent, we talked about, for your desk, or even other tools that you use in the classroom that ensure that you have what you need to make that class a success.
And Mary, we had a question about, is the program, can it be used by homeschool parents?
Absolutely. Although that I would probably recommend My Home Economy. So My Classroom Economy was instituted earlier, and then the My Home Economy came later. And so we're currently looking to implement a virtual My Classroom Economy. But in my opinion, we spent the money on the My Home Economy. And so that virtual presence, I think, is much easier to implement. So if you have a smaller group of folks, and I know a couple people who homeschool their children, and they kind of have groups. So like if it's only like, I don't know, like 6 to 10 people, the My Home Economy might actually be easier to implement for the homeschooling, because I just think it's easier established. Like My Classroom Economy is good like when you have like 30 people in your classroom, but if you have a smaller group, then I think it's just more mature, if that makes sense. Cool.
Perfect. And in the chat, I have 2 links that I've dropped in. The first one is the link to order materials for the My Classroom Economy, and then the second link is the one to order materials for the My Home Economy.
And I didn't know Gene before today, but his Troutwood, I would definitely look into that and use that as a complementary kind of aspect of instituting the My Home Economy. That was very, very slick, especially for the older grades. All right. So the next, I think, were bonuses. This is just a couple of ideas, on giving them. When my children were young, they went to a charter school, and they used to come home with these little tickets of like caught being good. So things like that were, are things where you can get this virtual money because you did good on a test, or you were considerate to another child, or you got a compliment from another teacher, you were doing extracurricular activities, helping kids cross the street, things like that. Outside reading assignments, anything kind of that's a little above and beyond, your day-to-day stuff. And then fines, same kind of stuff. Well, if you were late on your homework assignment, if you were late, or if you were rude, like interrupting the teacher, interrupting somebody else talking. These are some examples of things that you can institute with the fine. So between the bonuses and the fines, those are the things I was referring to before, where it's kind of a subtle way to implement discipline in your classroom. And I have heard, at least in the Philadelphia area, that those teachers that implemented this in their classroom, the children just were always like on point because of these kind of because of the bonuses and fines that you were able to do, and you could participate in these really fun events like the store and the what I think it's on the next slide, the auctions. Thank you. I just went brain dead there for a sec. So the auctions are really cool. Some of the things, this was another one that the teachers grappled with when we were in COVID in the virtual presence of like, hey, like, before they would go to like local stores and actually get donations. And so they had like these trinkets with it, which is the things on the tangible side. So the purpose isn't for the teachers to go buy a bunch of stuff and give the stuff away to the kids, right? Like it's really to try to, get the whole community involved in this. And what's in it for them, they get free advertisement. They get people come into their stores because they see that they have these cool trinkets there. So it's really a win-win. So the auctions provide a way of like that delayed gratification, the budgeting, that I'm going to save for, like at home, right? Like you're going to save for a scooter or something bigger, like a bicycle. So that's really, really important because it's hard. Delayed gratification is hard, right? You have to, hold off on spending what you have. So those are just all really good concepts to teach your children. And it could be intangible, like, homework pass or lunch with a teacher or reading time. But these auctions get crazy. Like we implemented a pseudo auction to teach a group of teachers, and they like pooled their money so they could buy like bigger things. And people are like, I don't understand how they're like, we didn't even get that much money. How are they offering that much money to get, the movie tickets or whatever it was? And it was because they were pooling their money, right? So it's just a lot of fun, just a lot of good concepts there. You can have them weekly, monthly, whatever. All right, so these next set of slides are just, what you would experience if you went into My Home Economy and ordered a kit. And you'll just say, hey, what's the grade, how many people, and the address, and all of that is free, and the kit will be sent to you. The other thing we talked about at our previous session is that if you want coaching, if there's a handful of teachers at your school, if they're interested in implementing this, we can do a virtual session with you and coach. It's like a teach the teacher kind of thing, where we would coach you, give you some ideas on how to implement the program in your classroom. But it's work to set up. But once your classroom is set up, it really almost just runs itself. Cool. All right, so kind of going back to my advertisement about Einstein and the eighth wonder of the world, Pujit's going to go through a really great exercise to make that real for y'all.
Yep. So just wanted to run through just the power of time and compound interest. And I'm going to pop into the chat here. It's just on a MoneyChimp website, a calculator, but there's hundreds out there. You could Google for a calculator. There's several mobile app versions you could use as well. And so just really wanted to illustrate the power of that. So in these next few scenarios, we're just going to talk through to hit 1 million by age 65, how much you would need to invest on a monthly basis to attain that, starting at different age points. So the first age point we're going to do here, starting at age 25, to hit 1 million by age 65, what is the guess of how much is needed to invest monthly to attain 1 million? So over a 40-year period, how much per month would need to be invested? and we're using a 9.8 interest rate, which we'll talk about that why in a moment. So I see 100, 200, 250. So yeah, definitely on that range. So $200. So in that entire time period, that 40 years, the total dollar amount invested would have been 96,000, but due to time and compound interest, you can see a bulk of it you're getting from Einstein's eighth wonder of the world. So, and then now, kind of in a decade later, if someone starts at age 35 with the same goal, hitting 1 million by age 65. So now we're down to 30 years. What would be the amount? So I see 1,000. Any other? 500. So yeah, right a little above that 500 mark, 530. So that's, substantially higher starting that decade later. And you can see that you're still investing close to 200K, but still pretty impressive given that you still have that 30-year horizon taking advantage of time and compound interest. And then our last category here, sorry, we didn't see it too quickly there. So age 45, now we have 2 decades. Same thing, how much invested per month? See a 599,000. All right, so 1,500. So you could see again, substantial increase there. You have, shorter window there, and so that's why programs like the My Classroom Economy really promote the power of time and compound interest, but saving early and often. The reason we use the 9.8% interest rate, it's the average of the S&P 500. It's one of the stock market benchmarks, but definitely if there's something more percentage you feel more comfortable using, the compound interest calculator allows you to modify it, the percentage. The big thing to note there is still, the power is going to be there once if you invest early and often. And so we're excited that our program allows visibility to this. And kind of the next scenario, kind of to apply it in a more kind of more tangible space. So the average car loan is about 30K, and the average payment on said 30K car loan is about $550 per month. So just in this scenario, if you were to invest that 550 per month from age 25 to 65, you're looking at 2.7 million. And then if we move to the kind of average American salary, the average salary around 60K, that 15% contribution, which amounts to about $9,000 per year. But if you take that 9,000, invest it from age 25 to 65, you're going to hit that 3.7 million. So again, just different ways to illustrate that eighth wonder of the world, time and compound interest, the benefits of saving early and often. So definitely, there's multiple compound interest calculators out there. One thing to note about our program, it's all paper-based at the current moment, but later this year, it's actually in development now to digitize our offer. So if anyone's interested in being part of that pilot, learning more, definitely we'll have some emails here on the back end of these slides, and we could talk through ways to get involved with our digital offer as well.
Yeah. And just to add on to the, oh, well, I can't afford, to pay myself first, so if initially, you're thinking that's the case, I know at Vanguard, 401ks that we manage on our institutional side of the house, or 403bs, they have a program called One Step where you get signed up. It's initially like 2% of your salary, and then every year it goes up like 1% or 2%. Or if you get a bonus, you could put your bonus towards, in that investment vehicle, either like an IRA if your company doesn't offer like Vanguard funds. So there's just a lot of options. The other thing is, again, if you have children, there's 529 plans. just great way to invest. Insurance, I'm not sure what they have for the classroom, but like at Vanguard, we have HSAs, and that is a way to invest. It's, pre-tax going in. You don't get taxed on any money that it's made, and you don't get taxed on money that's coming out. So there's a lot of different like saving vehicles for, at our disposal that are nice. But again, kind of, starting small increments to make that all palatable. Puja, I can't hear you.
Talking on mute. I knew it would happen at least once this presentation. So this is also another fascinating kind of data point and study that was done. So this was the largest study of American millionaires. So anyone with a net worth of 1 million, and several behavioral based questions were asked, but just pure like lifestyle questions were also asked. And so I want to review some of these kind of, I think, very surprising facts. So what percentage of millionaires inherited their money? Any guesses here? %, all of them 100%, so 21%. Now this gets fascinating as it talks through more of kind of lifestyle. So what are the top 2 car brands driven by millionaires? So we got Teslas in there, we got Toyota, Honda. So yeah, hit it on the spot with the Toyota and the Honda for sure. And then the average home square footage. So for reference, the overall average is about 2,500. So what's the guess for our millionaires? 2,000, 2,000, 5,000, 4,000, 1,500. So it's right in that range, 2,000, 3,000 there. And the last one here, the top 3 job titles of millionaires. Entrepreneur, doctors, business owner, lawyers.
I like that YouTuber.
Oh, the YouTuber, yes. Oh, this is 3 years old, so it don't want to rule that out. So this was, definitely surprising from the study. So engineer, accountant, teacher. I know prior to my compliance role here at Vanguard, I worked with several of these clients, and the whole millionaire next door. As you could see with these stats, they truly are. It's definitely something attainable, and the whole taking advantage of time and compound interest, investing early and often, are some of the characteristics that come from this book and this study. So just something, another data point we wanted to share with everyone here today. No, there are definitely some surprises here with these stats.
Yeah, I find it really valuable that, you don't have to be a CIO, right? That, to become a millionaire. It really is as simple as living below your means and not falling for all this advertisement BS of like, I have to have, XYZ, or I have to have a BMW, or I have to, not anything against that car, but like I have to have all of these things, because these things aren't going to necessarily make us happy. Not that being a millionaire will make us happy either, but it's really just like these small changes or in our lifestyle that could just compound over time that really are, in my opinion, miraculous. I think in the last session I mentioned Vanguard's a really great company. I'm going to do a little, advertisement for them. Their fees are very, very low. Bogle, who started the company, changed the whole way people invest, and other companies like Schwab and Fidelity, because the people who have their money at Vanguard are the shareholders and stakeholders. We don't have a middleman. We don't. So that allows those fees to be low. And so early on in my career working at Vanguard, there was this Excel spreadsheet that talked about fees and like where the fees went. So I went over this with my husband, who is a rocket scientist. So we're talking like really heavy duty math guy, right? And he's like, no way, Mary, like, I don't believe you. So some of these things that Puget was going over about, the economy of scale and compound interest, right? And the reality is, over time, these things make this amazing difference, right? And it's kind of fun to talk about.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks everyone for participating in this. Next year, we just wanted to, so in this presentation, we want to send out, these are a couple of the emails. You could feel free, Mary had mentioned the coaching piece here. We're always available, the link to the materials, they can be ordered today, delivered today for free, but we definitely are here to support if it's valuable for a coaching session or just to understand best practices, see some data that we have success implementing this. Feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. So just wanted to.
Yeah, I definitely suggest on the coaching, reach out to us directly versus through the website, because you'll get a faster response.
That kind of finishes up our formal piece of the presentation here. Wanted to use these last few minutes to see any questions, feedback that you have for us that we could talk to.
I just wanted to jump in if I could real quick, and thank you guys for presenting, and also share with you that, all these sessions are being recorded and we're going to post them on our website. We did have 6 choices today for teachers. And so, all of the sessions are probably a little smaller than I would have liked, but I guarantee your information is going to be shared very broadly. So I really thank you for taking the time to present to Nevada teachers today.
Absolutely.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Yeah.
All right. I also want to echo the sentiments of thank you very much. I've learned a lot just by listening in the background, and definitely lots of food for thought and things that wished I'd known sooner, but that's okay. Because I loved Mary's brutal honesty in the chat, and I was like, thank you. I don't feel so bad. So a couple of links are in the chat. The attendance link went out earlier for that. And I also have the survey link here available for you all. I can try to add a few more of those. In the meantime, I'm going to stop the recording.